Just Eff It. Hi, I'm Romy.
Hi, and I'm Carla.
And together we are the EFF IT
Madres.
Madres. We are here to invite you guys into stories of some inspiring madres
who have changed their lives through an EFF IT moment. So here we go. Just Eff It.
Hey guys, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. And now we are officially saying Madre Monday.
Yes, that's very clever.
Very
Romy,
clever.
I gotta give that one to you. That was very clever. I love it.
I love it. So it's like Monday motivation, Madre Monday. We are the EFF IT Madres.
Yeah.
Carla, for anybody tuning in for the first time, who are we? What do we do here?
So we are the EFF IT Madres. We are basically moms supporting moms, madres supporting madres through an EFF IT moment. So you could either have had your EFF IT moment, be in the midst of it, or be wanting it. But basically, you know, these moments are those really life-changing, pivotal moments that change the trajectory of your and your family's life. And so it's a big deal. And we wanted to create a platform to help support moms, because there are many moms out there who, you know, might need that little extra push and that little motivation. And hearing these mom stories is definitely a way to get you to take that first step. So welcome to our platform.
Welcome. Well said. Well said. All right. And we have a special madre of the day, of the morning. And her name is Brittany Hamilton. And she is actually a friend of one of my best friends, Brooke. I know her through our kids and everything. And I got to talking to Brittany one day. We were doing like a fun shoot together, and we were just in the back talking, and she was telling me a little bit of her story, and I was like, wow, this is a strong mama, this strong woman, this strong mama. And I just had no idea. A lot of things you just don't know about people's stories, you know, until you just start opening up and talking to them, and then you're just like, whoa. And she definitely had one. So I reached out to her and I was like, I would love for you to let me know if you have an EFF IT moment you want to share. She wrote to us. And I'm excited to kind of get into it.
Yeah, that's why you just can never you can never judge a book by its cover. Nope. You don't know what people are going through. So just be nice.
Be nice.
Just be
just
nice.
F and be kind. Know. Remember?
Just F and
be
kind. Yeah. Like you just never know.
No, I mean, and any of us can be like showing up in a certain way, and behind closed doors, there's a lot we're struggling with. And we want to make sure that this is a space that women can kind of say, you know what? This is what's happening. I want to fucking change it. This is what I fucking did to change it. This is what I'm going through. And so I'm excited.
Yeah. We're here to support y'all.
Yep.
I said y'all. Oh my God.
Y'all, look at you. You're a freaking Texas
You're
girl now.
Off on me.
You've been talking to me too much.
I know.
Y'all.
All right. We're going to bring her in momentarily.
Okay, guys. Well, here we are with our Madre Monday, and we have Brittany Hamilton. Brittany, thank you for joining us this morning.
Yes, thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yay, we're excited. So right before you came on, I was telling Carla that I know you through one of my good friends. We got to chatting one time on a shoot, and you were telling me a little bit about your story, and I was just like, oh my God, this is like a superwoman, you know, like I want to know more. So when I reached out to you, I really appreciated you being like, yeah, I'm open to sharing and coming on. And I don't know you very well. I don't know your story very well. Right. So this is also new to me too. So we're grateful that you are a mom that's willing to come on and share your EFF IT moment with us. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
All right, Brittany, when did you decide to just EFF IT, and why?
I think currently I am still in the process of deciding to say EFF IT. And I think it was just a kind of a storm of events that led me to just say EFF IT and stop trying to control everything and just control the narrative of my life and my children's life, and, you know, trying to have this ideal of a picture perfect family that I had, you know, created in my head, thanks to a lot of conditioning and, you know, social pressures and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think in the email I remember you saying like you were trying really hard to be like that Pinterest mom, to like have everything to present it in a way that like there wasn't anything back here that anybody was seeing. Everything that everyone was seeing was like the end result sort of thing, and that you were just like,
Right.
fuck this.
Yeah, and I think we've brought this up quite a few times, like with some other moms, and I think it is a serious thing where we do have these, you know, social media or how we're presenting or, you know, the right filter and the right photo and what everyone looks like, and we compare because there's so many, I know, like famous Instagram moms, you know, who do a great job curating this like beautiful idea of their family, and that pressure and that status and that reality is so hard and so unrealistic. So when you wrote that in the email, I was like, yes, like let's acknowledge this, you know. So you're basically sharing
Right.
that you, and correct me if I'm wrong, got caught up in
Yeah.
that, right?
Right.
And really
Definitely. Yeah.
said, F it, fuck it. That is not who I am. Explain a little bit more.
Yeah, that's definitely what it was. Just I think a lot of it has to do too with just people pleasing in general. You know, I got caught up with that.
During this F it moment, what I'm curious about is just where were you in that whole stage of your life, or you're in it right now, and like why and how are you getting out of it? What is the cause, the reason for you to go fuck it?
It started with my daughter, you know, was getting involved in cheer heavily and whatnot, and we were just you know, constantly trying to keep up. And like I said, I was the DIY mom. I made all the things. I was the team mom for both my son's team and my daughter's team. And overnight, you know, just one morning we woke up and my son was no longer able to feel his legs. He couldn't walk and or move his legs. So he did. Prior to that, he had been, you know, diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and so we had struggled with that. And he was on some Remicade IV infusions, which is like a chemo drug. And so he was on those, but, you know, still able to thrive and play sports and do all the things. And so this was really, you know, shocking to us. And at first we thought, you know, maybe it's just a side effect because he had recently had an IV infusion. So we called his GI doctor and we went in, and his GI doctor said he told me at a later date that he was about to just call 911 because he didn't, you know, just the state that my son was in. But he ended up admitting us to the hospital. And I mean, we're just now at the end of that. So it's been a year of just different neuro doctors, different I didn't even realize there were so many different types of specialties within the neurology realm. Like, you know, there's so many different types of neuro doctors. He's 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. So we never got a concrete diagnosis, just, it's a rare neuro disease. We know that. We found, you know, various tests showed up positive for this or that. And just, I mean, it's just been such a battle of, you know, and I actually listened to a previous episode of your mom talking and connected with that.
I'm sure that's relatable for you because it's like your children are all of a sudden going through something. And as moms, you're just trying to figure out what the hell you do for them. And then, like you're saying, learning about the doctors, learning about medical terms, like you don't know it all until you're thrown into it. So I've been there with my mom, as you know, and seen her go through that. So again, I can't imagine as a mom.
Yeah. Yeah. And like what she said really resonated with me, like about doing your own research and all of that. That's something that I definitely had to do. If I had just, I mean, even his getting treatment right there in the hospital, if I had listened to the doctors and not push, then there's no telling what would have happened next. I actually had to research, came up with a diagnosis that I thought, you know, was accurate, mentioned it to the neuro doctor, and she was like, oh, you know what? I think you might be onto something. And so she got a neuro doctor that was a specialty in that field. And, you know, they ended up giving him a very extensive type of treatment that they can give that basically stopped the progression of whatever was going on neuro-wise. And had they not given him that treatment, it could have spread to his organs and everything. And we don't even know if he would, you know, be with us. So, but yeah, so that was it's a lot,
Yeah.
a lot to go through. And it really, puts things into perspective and makes you just want to say, F it.
Yeah. So
So,
what did you, okay, so this is happening and this has been the
yeah,
last year. You guys, you're in this process still because you're going through all this.
right.
So what are you doing about it in terms of when you say fuck it? What does that look like? And what are the act, like, what is that moment? What are you doing? And how, you know what I
Or
mean?
not doing
Right.
anymore.
Or not doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think I had this ideal prior to all of this that, my kids had to play certain sports. They had to, they had to go to school in person, because if they didn't, then they would be awkward and have no friends, and they
Right.
wouldn't be able to be social, and
Mhm.
sports were so important because, if they didn't have that, then they wouldn't know what teamwork looked like, and they wouldn't be successful in their,
Right.
future careers.
Right.
And, I just had all these ideals, and then also just my involvement too of, having to be the team mom, and like I said, make all the things.
Right.
And it sounds silly, but if you talk to any of the people involved, I think they would tell you I was like the ultimate team mom.
And I'm sure you took that on, and it felt like something you love to do, which is okay, to have ownership in that.
Yeah, I would really go overboard with my role of making all the things and whatnot. So, yeah, just kind of putting all of that aside and just really doing more for me and for my family, and taking care of us and, our health, both mental and physical,
Yeah.
and not having this need to impress people or get their approval, or, not being such a people pleaser, I guess. And also just not feeling like my kids, have to be in a certain sport, or, doing school a certain way, or, and me and my husband still debate about this. Like, my kids right now are out of school. They're doing virtual
Okay.
because,
I was gonna ask you that. Yeah.
Jackson's health, it was really hard to, we tried over and over to do in-person school, but it's so hard for him to, just thrive in that environment, because he's in and out, in and out.
Right.
And then, it's equally hard on my daughter, because, she is having to miss school and whatnot a lot as well.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, and it's still, like, what I was going to say is, it's still hard for him. We still have debates, because he still has a lot of that conditioning in him
Yeah.
that, our kids have to do in-person school, or, something bad will happen. They
Right.
won't be normal.
I mean, but isn't that part of the journey that, like, we just don't know what the journey is, and when it does happen, because we never know, like, at what point do you
Right.
say, I'm just gonna fucking go with this, and this is the motion that's
Right.
happening, and this is where my family's going, so what are we gonna fucking do, like, you can either
Exactly.
fight
Yes.
it, you can fight that, or you can accept it that virtually it's working better, not being in that
Right.
sport, not being that mom, not having what you visioned can fucking be okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think like I said, I've said F it, and I've come to terms with what that looks like. And, I'm okay with not, things not looking like, society says they should.
Yes.
I'm good with doing what, I know is best for my children, because I don't feel like anyone else, knows better than me what's right for my situation.
And they don't.
Yeah. But yeah, so he still struggles with that a bit. And I know lots of people do, struggle with that. So
I was just gonna ask, like, when you finally decided, like, you know what, fuck this. Well, how did that make
mhm.
you feel? Did you feel relief? Did you feel like a weight off your shoulders? Did you feel scared?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I was like, I really came to, a breaking point with my son's health is what I would say initiated this moment for me. And then I've mentioned to you guys, some of the other things that came after. And then, I really came to a breaking point where I was just at my max stress level, and just
Yeah.
felt like I had, a lot of weight on top of me. And yeah, just came to that breaking point. And once I did decide to just let go and no longer try to control everything and, you know, just try to do what I felt was best and just get to know myself.
Yeah.
And not, you know, always focusing on becoming what I think I'm supposed to be. Yeah, it's been a huge relief. And I felt even with all of the things going on, I'm still like, I would say on a, you know, day to day, like I'm pretty stress free, like I'm pretty easygoing, like I'm happier, like I'm able to get out of bed in the morning. You know, that was a struggle for a while. Like when I came to that breaking point, like I would be in bed until, you know, noon or 1. People would want me to come do stuff and I'd just cancel at the last minute. And just, you know, I was struggling. I was definitely depressed. And yeah, it's been a huge, huge relief.
Question in regards to the people around you, like friends and family. So you had built yourself to be a certain way, and when you decided to
Right.
say fuck it, how did these people react to that? Because they're so
Yeah.
used to seeing you do things a certain way. Like were people
Right.
supportive? Were people like, what the heck's going on? Like, how did they react?
So unfortunately, the people that I was kind of most connected to during this time were a group of women that are a little more can be a little more judgmental,
Mm-hmm.
just to be blunt. And so I think that's kind of how me and Brooke connected, because
Mm-hmm.
we were both kind of being judged pretty harshly. And yeah, the not everyone was supportive of this new change and me becoming more laid back, and just they made, you know, assumptions. I don't know. I've heard few rumors here and there, you know.
When you're in a group of the women that you guys are in, moms involved, you're the parents that are on and working all these events and doing all these events. And when you kind of realize that, you know what, there's bigger shit going on at home, and this all this energy to show up for all of you and this team and your families and you women and all of this is more exhausting. It isn't helping, and we have bigger things to focus. So like I know when you and Brooke were dealing with a lot as moms and showing up to these things, it was more like, we're here for our kids, we're here to have fun, we all need to relax a little, we all need to chill a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched both of you and heard, you know, a little bit of the stories just kind of say like fuck it, in the sense. And I think it's important that like this whole image
Mm-hmm.
is just an image, and there's still a home to
Right.
come home to and things to deal with, and sometimes it's not going to look that way, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And there was a lot of
Right.
judgment, I think, on both of you when you stopped showing up like those moms.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You worded that better than I can.
No, that's okay. And I'm only saying that because I know a little bit about the situation, and I think it's important. You know, I think there's times, there was a moment where I did like go off social media for a little bit. I took like a month off. You know,
Yeah.
we get wrapped up, we get consumed in this image, in this idea of what people see in us, and we all do it. I mean, it's just what we do. But
Right.
it's like you said, it's almost like if you turn it off for a minute and you can just be you and just your family and just be with your family, you release this entire like expectation, judgment, and you can just sit with your family in what it is
Mm-hmm.
without worrying about what anyone fucking thinks.
Right. Definitely. And I feel like those moments are so important and so special. Like that's really what's brought me, you know, happiness despite everything that's going on, are those moments, you know,
Yeah.
when I just get to focus on them and not care, you know, about any of the judgment or what anyone thinks. And yeah, it's nice.
You know, we've had a few moms on here, Carla, that like I just want to say like we've seen them kind of have an expectation of their life, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or what
Mm-hmm.
their children were going to do or be. And
Mhm.
it's really beautiful to hear these stories of so many that are like, oh, it just did not go that way. And it's still really beautiful and rad. And we're just kind of like, we're following where it goes. But like anyone listening, like you never know. You never know. You never know what's going to look like.
Yeah.
Whatever you're picture is that you've painted,
Yeah.
most likely it's going to be shooked up.
There's always a silver lining in situations like this, because obviously, like, the health of your son, it's so unfortunate that this is happening to him. But what it does is it makes you obviously have a huge realization, and it also weeds out all of those useless energy sucking people
Yes.
and brings
Yes.
to you the people that truly truly matter. And that's when
Yes.
you feel, at least in my experience, you feel the most full, because those people that surround you are the ones that actually care. So I always, like, it's always a hard thing to think, because it's like it's a bad situation, it's not a great situation, obviously, but like, then the people that surround you are so much better quality and can help support you through such a hard thing. So I don't know, at least that's what it seems like in a bunch of the stories that we've also talked with other moms. Like, it just weeds all the
Yeah.
crap out, you know.
I'm curious too, like, what, first of all, how is your son? So we can know, like, how is your son, and what did this do for your family and him and you? Because it's your story. What did it do for you guys by saying fuck it and stopped caring and stopped showing up that way and stopped putting those expectations on your family?
Yeah. So right now he's actually doing really amazing. Like, I really feel like we're at the end of this, and hopefully for good. With, again, we don't have, like, we haven't nailed it down to an exact diagnosis, but we kind of know the family of neuro diseases that, he falls within,
Yeah.
with his, like, the positive results and whatnot that we've got back, and just his symptoms and whatnot. And so there is, a chance that something could trigger it, and it could come, back and start this journey all over again. But the chances are low. And so we're, of course, hoping for the best. And right now, he's doing amazing. Like, this is the longest he's went of being able to, walk. His wheelchair is completely out of our house and put
Aw.
away, and has
Yay.
probably
I
spider webs and
know.
dust on it.
Yay.
Yeah, that's
So
amazing.
yeah, he's doing really good. And even his Crohn's disease is doing really good right now. The doctor really pushed us to put him on another to get his infusions going, not the same one, because they think that the Remicade caused an autoimmune response. And that category of medicine, they're called TNFs. So he said no TNFs, but he wanted us to put him on a different type of infusion. And we said no, and we did. We're doing a diet instead, and his Crohn's disease is better than it's ever been. And he's,
Aw.
like I said, getting better as far as the neuro disease goes. So it's really exciting
That's great
to be
news.
on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is he
awesome.
able to play sports at all right now? Is he able to stay active?
So he is very, very excited, because he is about to start back up sports.
Yay.
It'll be new, because he's, with all the steroids and everything that he's had to be on over the last year, he has, like, tripled his size. It's insane. He's so much bigger than he was before all this started. So he's still, like, adapting and getting used to, like, I think he still feels like he's little, but
Yeah.
he's huge now. So he's got to adapt to his size, and his muscle strength, and get all that back.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a journey. I don't know how it's going to go, but he is returning to sports.
I love that.
Yeah, here in a few weeks, he's going to start with flag football and karate.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, those are the two things he's doing.
So what did it do for you guys? What did it do then? He's doing well. His health is well. That's so good to hear. And I'm sure would not have
Yes.
happened if you weren't a badass mom who took the time to really focus and lean into what he needed. So that's what you got to do. So what did it do for all of you
Yeah.
guys?
I would say, one, it definitely brought us all closer, because it put everything in perspective for us. Especially, like, my husband and I would say that we've become stronger, just having to, work as a team to
Yeah.
figure things out in several traumas throughout this last year, that one. And
Yeah.
then there were a few more that I mentioned. And so I would say it just brought us closer as a family. It definitely helped us learn how to work together better. And it's just really helped us to do away with all of the conditioning and
Yeah.
the ideal, that we had to be this perfect family. And my daughter has actually done away with cheerleading.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
She's done?
Yeah. Yes,
wow.
Okay.
she's moving on. She actually wants to play football, so we'll
Yes.
see.
All right. All right.
I love that.
I was going to ask you, since you mentioned your husband and the conditioning,
Mhm.
was he also very much that Pinterest dad as well?
No, I wouldn't say he's not like that. My husband is more his father is like a traditionalist.
Hmm.
So he acts much, you would think he was born in a different time than he actually was. And so I think in my husband being raised by him, he has a lot of traditional views, but yet
Right.
he's also like a very progressive man. So it's, I don't know, this combination, but he has a lot of traditional conditioning, I think.
How things should
Yeah.
be, like very old school. I mean, the fact that it brought you guys closer, because I know that you had other huge moments that happened to you guys in the last year on top of this, that's a make or break sometimes for a family.
Mhm.
So, I
Yeah,
mean, it's
definitely.
beautiful to hear that you guys went through it. You maybe didn't agree on
Mhm.
some of the decisions and how to do it. He still wanted them in school. You said it's best for them not to be
Yes.
in school. These are big things. These are your children. These are the
Yeah.
directions of their health.
Mhm.
And a lot of times when one parent or one partner says F it and the other's like not on board, it's it's
Mhm.
it's when the home crumbles. And so it's really beautiful that it brought you guys closer.
You did, but I will say, not to say that it was all like,
No.
perfect. There were definitely, yeah, lots of hard moments. And, I felt like we had to go through a storm
Yeah.
before it made us
Yeah.
closer. Like it wasn't all roses.
No.
It was hard and lots of challenges and fighting and all the things. But yes, I would say ultimately, like now that we're on the other side of things, it's made us closer for sure.
I mean, that's important too, that like in a fuck it moment, sometimes it's going to actually raise some shit. Not every fuck it moment is going to be a beautiful journey. And that's important for people to say. You may say, fuck it, this is what I'm going to do for our family. This is what I'm going to do for our kids. And it may actually be a moment that causes a really hard journey
Yeah,
that ultimately
definitely.
ends for what was best because you knew and you trusted it and you went with it.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any fears that come up for you since kind of having this mental shift and everything?
Yeah, I do. Um, I think they would sound silly to say them out loud, but it's just that
Say
if,
them, yell them,
Yeah.
share them. No fears are silly.
so, like for example, with cheerleading, I do, fear for my daughter if, okay, well, what if she, wants to try out later and she isn't able to, should I make her, at least still do this or that so that she can keep up, because what if she needs it for
Yeah.
later?
Yeah.
And I mean, of course I've said fuck it and I've, adapted to this new way of thinking and doing things, but I do still, that's still in me. So of course I still worry, about like, the ways that I used to think that my kids would be affected, if they're not a part of these things. So I still, think now and then, like, what if, my kids are losers and they're depressed and hate their
Yeah.
life because, they didn't do this or that.
Isn't it
So,
crazy though how we get those like I mean, I had the same thing, Brittany, where it was, Frankie's got to do a sport. I want her to know
mhm.
teamwork. I want her to be involved in this. Like she's got to have some teamwork, And I started she started playing soccer, which she was fine when she was like 2. And then this last year she was like, I don't want to play a sport. And it was like, but you need to, because that is where you learn teamwork and you got to have a sport. Like, that's how we do things. And she was like,
Yes.
I don't want to, she's like, I want to dance and sing. And I was just like, that's
Okay.
cute. Right. But
Yeah.
and then I put her in, but like even on nights where we're done with school and she's exhausted and she does have like a dance class, and it's like I'll ask her now, because at first I was like, we're going, like, this is part of it, was a structure, and then it's like, Mom, I
Yeah.
don't want to go tonight. And there's a point where you go, you know what, you're going to be fine. Like, if you don't want to go, it's okay. We can breathe. If you don't like that sport and you don't want to
Yeah.
be that, we can breathe. Like, it's at what
Yep.
point do we take all these like expectations that we created and just kind of fucking breathe?
Right. And that's, my youngest, she's in tumbling, and the next step to that, she's at Tumble Tech, and the next step would be to join a cheer team and do cheerleading. And that's, she's in it because that's what she's wanted to do. And now she's become obsessed with ballet and wants to do ballet. And I've been going back and forth, which do I go ahead and make her do the cheerleading, or do I put her in ballet? What do I do? But yeah, kids are fun. And I think that it's important that we let them, I mean, obviously we can't let our kids make all the decisions for themselves, but I do think that it's important that we let them try all the things and find their way, especially in that realm, as far as sports or hobbies or, whatever. It is, I think although I ultimately became a cheerleader myself, and it saved me in a lot of ways. And I think that's why I was so passionate for my girls to do it, because it did help me. And it saved me from going down a path that I feel like I would have went down had I not had it. But I do think that part of another thing that was important was that I did try all the things before settling on that one. And I was able to, choose that for myself. And I felt like it would have been different had someone kind of picked that path for me and forced it upon me.
And I was like the opposite of you. I had never, like, my parents never pushed me to be in any organized sports. Like, they didn't care what I did. Right. So I was like, and then I watched the type of human I became, and I was like, shit, Mom, like, why didn't you make me play a sport or do fucking anything? Because I'm out of my goddamn mind. So then when I had a kid, I was like, we do sports. I didn't get it. We do sports in this family, and then I was like, she's not me. It doesn't, I gotta let her be her.
Yep.
It's hard listening to this because like my daughter is 17 months. So like, I have these things where I'm like you, Romy, my parents didn't force me. They forced me to play piano.
Yeah.
Like they did force me to play piano, and I hated it because I was forced. So what I'm realizing after hearing stories like this is like, I definitely want to give her a choice to make her feel like she's making a decision, but I want to present her with like, here are sports and here are instruments. Pick one. Like pick something
That's
within
what
this.
that's what we did.
Yeah, like it doesn't have to be one sport, I mean,
No.
this is me thinking this now. I'll have to talk to my husband at some point, but but like, here's a sport, here are instruments, because she might be more creative and not sporty, or she might be more sporty and not musical, like musically inclined. So it's like just opening it up to them being like, you got to pick something, like one thing.
That's pretty much what we did. Yeah. We were like, you have to pick something. And then I told she was like, I want to be a singer. I'm like, okay, we're going to do singing lessons. She's like, I'm already good. So I was like, well, now we have that day.
Oh, wow. Yep. That's been my kids with everything.
I wanted to ask you, because another leg to that question is, how are you staying in this EFF IT mindset? Because like, if once things start, for people start going good again, you can revert back to like the way that you used to think or do the things that you used to do. How are you staying in that forward momentum?
Yeah, see, that is kind of an unanswered question at the moment, since I am in it. And I've kind of wondered that myself, because, as we return to sports and, just start to, my daughter, we had this summer where we had no responsibilities, no nothing, it was just me and my family, and we were at home and we could just do whatever we wanted, no outside pressures. And now, with my youngest, she does go to, an in-person pre-K program, and my returning to sports and whatnot. I have wondered, like my husband asked me tonight, so are you going to be team mom? And I'm like, we'll see. Maybe see if there's anyone else that wants to do it. Because I am like, worried about just kind of reverting back to that. Yeah. And I don't want to, because it's so stressful and just so much anxiety comes with it. And, it's not who I want to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an unanswered question.
Totally
I'm
fair.
not sure, how I'm going to handle it, but I think boundaries will be important.
I was going to say boundaries or just finding some sort of balance. Like maybe like you do it once a month, and like other moms, maybe it's like a role that each person takes on every time there's a game. Like each month someone has that assigned duty. That way it's not always you, and you put that expectation on you. I don't know. Maybe that's something that.
Yeah, like not a full commitment.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the hardest part. And Carla and I have talked about that. When we get into these journeys and we make these big moves, it's like, how do you maintain it and not revert? How do you keep pushing through? Because I mean, we make those big, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go for this. And then we lose it. We lose that momentum. So it's how do we just continue to, when we're in it, to keep pushing through,
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And you're in it. You're going to figure that out.
Well, it sounds like you already are doing that, because you're catching yourself when you're like, I don't really know if that's really what I want to do. Like you are having that internal dialogue with yourself, which isn't like, no, I'm just going to go do it like I always did. You are actually pausing and really like reflecting. And I think that is a sign of you really keeping that momentum moving forward. So
definitely. Yeah. And that was one of my, biggest things was just overcommitting. I was just the yes girl. I would say yes to anything and everything. Anybody ask of me, yep, I'll pick up your kids, I'll babysit. I mean, for my daughter's birthday, we had a slumber party and there were like 13 girls in my house. And once they got here, I was like, what am I doing? Like it was complete chaos,
Girl, it's the same way. I'm homeroom mom again. I don't know how that happened. I swore last year I was done, and here I am at homeroom meeting going, okay, it's my last year. I overcommitted this year. I don't want to throw a Christmas party.
Yep.
Maybe there's something to being introverted and antisocial. I'm like listening to this. I'm like, I don't think I'll be participating in that unless I have to.
Okay, Carla, the day you tell me you're homeroom mom, you already said y'all tonight. Like, I'm done. I don't know you anymore.
Who knows? You can never say never, right?
Who are you? Oh my God.
It's weird because I am like an introvert on the inside, but people would never think that of me, like it's weird, but I feel like that is who I am on the inside. Like that's my happy place,
That's why it can be uncomfortable when you're too exposed. At times you got to get back in your shell because you've put yourself too much out there and it's not really aligned with like your core.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You got to say, fuck it, I'm going back in my shell.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, my next question to you would be like, what advice would you give to a mom going through this right now? What would you tell them?
Just to let go. You cannot control everything. And no matter how hard you try, like life will come crashing down. It doesn't mean necessarily in a bad way, but just, it won't be your way. Things will not go the way that you plan. I mean, you may get lucky once or twice or 10 times, but eventually it will happen, like it's bizarre how it works, but we can't control everything. You can't plan everything. And I just think that there's so much happiness and joy and just letting go and just letting things be, and just finding yourself within your journey and, holding on to that and making the best of it.
I think the best thing my therapist has ever said to me, because I was a massive control freak and this actually made me switch off, which was...
I'll be right there with you, Carla.
Yeah, it's like you actually can't control much at all. The only thing you can control is the way you react to things.
Yes.
And that was when I was like, poof, my mind is blown. Like, holy shit, you're absolutely right. I'm the person that's
Yes.
going to make things good,
Yes.
bad. It's not the situation itself. So I just need to like relax and just let myself be the one in control of how I react to things. So I thought that was a really powerful
It's
message.
so powerful because these things are going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen in the next year, the year after. We don't know if the world's going
Yeah.
to shut down again and we're scared.
Yeah.
None of us know. And it is really up to us on how we react and how
Mhm.
we handle it when it comes and
Mhm.
what motions we take through those things and letting go of, you know what? This is my big game plan. This is what the next 5 years are going to look like. This is where they're going to school. This is what our life is going to look like. You don't fucking know shit. So get ready, hang on, and
Yeah.
and you take control of how you react, you know, and what you do for you and for your family, because that's where you have any kind of, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you try and
Definitely.
control it all and you fight it all, you're not gonna win.
I know. Yeah. And it's so, I see so many moms now,
Yeah.
like, sitting where I'm sitting now and looking, inward, I guess, at these other moms. Like it makes me sad, like watching them, trying to control everything. Like I want to just reach out and be like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
It's sad.
And ultimately, I think it's that thing too, right? Where we all are like, we don't want to fuck up our kids. We don't want to fuck up our kids. How do we not fuck up our kids? Guess what? Somehow, somewhere, we're going to fuck up our kids. So let's just breathe and do our best and focus, because we're all so damaged from whatever our parents did that fucked us up. So then we're trying so hard not to fuck up our kids. But in the midst of trying to not fuck them up, we're actually fucking everybody up. So we just need to like take a
Yeah.
moment.
Agreed.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's okay to fall and get back up and restructure the dynamic of your family. If it wasn't working, it's okay, like you did, Brittany, to say, you know what? This isn't working, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to shift it. And everyone's going to come closer for it. We're going to get focused. We're going to be a unit. We're going to be a family. And like, it's a really important message because it
Yeah.
is hard to shake that
Yeah.
up.
And it's a very brave thing to do too. It's a brave
Yeah.
thing to have that mental shift and just be like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like I don't care
Yeah.
about what anybody thinks because
Yes.
all I think about right now is my family and like my mental health
Yes.
and their mental health. Like you said, you have to get to a breaking point because that's
Yes.
usually what it
Mhm.
takes. Like you have to get to that point where you're just like, I can't do this anymore. But it is like it's the best and the bravest thing that anybody can really do
It
for
is so
themselves and
brave.
their
Yeah.
family.
It's so brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And you should be
Yeah.
proud. I
Yeah.
mean, you didn't break, you didn't fall apart. Your family's still standing. Your son is doing well. Your kids are getting back into things. You've made it through. I mean, that's like, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
really beautiful and amazing.
It is.
It
Yeah.
Yeah.
is. You're still standing. You got your family. You guys are still moving. And like, you didn't let these things, it sounds cheesy, but break your spirit, you know?
Yeah. No,
So,
definitely. I think I had that moment a few weekends ago when I was watching my son walk into a birthday party with some of his friends, and just the fact that he was walking in and then how
oh,
confident and strong he looked, and just
yeah.
I don't know, just everything. It was like a I don't know, powerful moment for me.
I love
Yeah.
Just
that.
realizing like wow, like we have been through absolute hell this year, and
Yeah.
not just with that, but with other things obviously I'm not sharing tonight, but that I've shared
Yeah.
with you too. Just I mean, it's been a lot of
Yeah.
really big things, really awful things that
Yeah.
have happened to us this year, and the fact that we've made it through it, yeah, it's been powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really love that you came on here and shared this. Again, it's these kind of stories that help inspire another mother who's listening and going through that and hearing, an end result or you pushing through it. Do you want to share on Instagram or are you guys private?
Sure, yeah, mine's public. Brittany, Brittany
Mm-hmm.
dot Shaniel, which is Shaniel.
Perfect. So if anyone needed to follow, reach out, share how they felt about the story or anything, they
Yeah,
can reach out to you.
absolutely.
I think this will really resonate with a lot of women, because I know that there's so
Yeah.
many of those moms out there that are just really trying really hard to present themselves in a way that is unrealistic, and just like breaking themselves down because they want people to think that they're this picture perfect family. And it's just I really hope that this opens up, I'm sure it will, opens up a lot of eyes,
Yeah.
So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah,
Of
it is. It's really, it's an important message, and these things are going to happen. And I think if we can start, even with people that are young moms, Carla, and you've got little ones and you haven't hit that point yet, it's almost like, hey, you're about to go into this.
Yeah.
Shit may,
Yeah.
you don't have to breathe. It's okay.
Yeah.
And we all get to do
Yeah.
it differently, and we all get to look differently. And there may be that Friday that we don't get to show up and put that perfect first day of school pickup, because you know what? It wasn't perfect. It's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's so many standards put on moms these days. All these
Yeah.
moments you have to, be present for, and all these things you have to do for all these special moments.
Not
And
to mention how you're supposed to look.
Yeah.
Like, give us a fucking break.
Yeah.
Trying to, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's
It
a
is
lot. Yeah.
So, Brittany, thank you so much for being with us, and
Just
just
F
F
it.
it.